Hello and welcome to this Whole Bang Shoot tutorial on the upcoming deployment of the new casting brief section of the system, which will be deployed at the close of play on Friday the 31st of October. We'd like to take a moment before we start though to thank you all for your input over these last few weeks in order to make these developments happen. Through your feedback it is helping us strive to create a better environment for you to work from. So without further ado, in this tutorial we'll be touching upon a number of things, but primarily we'll be addressing the following points. 1. Overview of submissions and a snapshot of what has been done or is still to do across jobs. 2. The quick search of a job. 3. The ability to see which of your talent has been accepted or declined across the job or by each part. And finally 4. The talent profile access for contact information and imagery updates direct from your submissions page. So let's go into the system. As you're well aware, when you log into the system it takes you straight to your casting briefs page, and this is your new look. From left to right we have the job column, which lists the job names, when it was created, who the brief was originally sent by, what type of job it is, the number of roles or parts that are held within the job, and then finally the workflow of suggested castings, options, callbacks and confirmed, along with your communication between yourselves and the casting director on that job. We can also quick filter between jobs now so that we can get greater efficiency in regards to access and finding things that you need to work on. So in this instance, let's say I'm looking for the test Adidas job. I just type in test Adidas and it refines the screen so that it just shows what I'm typing. We can see here from the breakdown what is now available as an overview of submissions and a snapshot of what needs to be done and still needs to be done across the job. As we look at suggested, we can see here that we've got a total of 9 sent for this job. Currently 4 have been accepted, 1 has been declined by the casting director, and 4 are undecided by the casting director, and 5 suggestions have been made by yourselves but not sent yet. As we move through to the castings, those 4 that have been accepted, you've said that 4 are now attending and you've accepted those time slots. It is the same idea when it comes through to the options. 4 requests have been made for options from the casting director and you have responded 100% to those options, so there are none outstanding for you to confirm or reject. The same thing happens with callbacks. 4 requests have been made by the casting director, but 4 are now currently pending for you to answer and confirm the time slots. Finally, the confirm tab shows that 6 of your talent have been confirmed. And then there's a speech bubble here to show any communication that you've made between yourselves and the casting director. So let's drill in and have a look at this. If I click into any one of these levels, it will take us into the job itself, and you'll notice that it's a throwback to the old design of the tabs that were requested, but with a twist of the new revamp of a slicker look and feel, as well as additional functionality and features. So we start off with our suggested tab. By default it shows us all parts, but I can refine that by looking at, say for instance, Clever Girls on this casting day, and it will refine my list here of suggested talent that I made. So we can very quickly now see who and when we are sending our talent for. I can click onto my decline tab and see who has been declined by the casting director. I can also see who's been accepted. I can see who went to the casting and at what times. The same with the callback. I can see that I've still got to answer these things. So that ties back to our original brief overview that says that there were 4 pending for the callback. Then I can finally check through my options that I've already replied to. And the final tab is to see who's been confirmed. So the system workflow now is a lot more simplistic and allows you to gather and gain a lot of information in a very short and quick amount of time. So what about the talent profile access for contact information and imagery updates? So let's say for instance I want to contact Alison Ryans. I can hover over her name and click on it and it will load me straight into her profile, where I can gain all of her contact information, her abilities and her credits and CVs if they exist. I can also update her imagery. I can either click via here to view the current images I've got, or I can manage her imagery and upload and move the images around. So let's say I want that to now be the first order of image. This will then update when I reload into this screen Alison's picture. So if I reload this frame, you'll see Alison's picture has now been changed. So very quickly, what we can do is, whilst adding suggestions as well as suggestions that have already gone, we can get the information of our individual talent as well as update their imagery. Returning back to the overview screen of jobs, let's now deal with the job that has just come in. Test Holbang Shoot Coca-Cola. As you can see here, it's that no suggestions have been made. When I drill into it, you'll see that everything is empty. I have my brief and synopsis on the left hand side, as well as the information to download of any storyboards or imagery that the casting director has sent through to me. I can print that full brief by clicking on it, and the overview of all parts and all jobs and all notes and usages are available for me to print off. So let's get suggesting. Now, by default, as I mentioned before, we said that it shows all parts. Now, you can't add suggestions across all parts, so you have to use this filter to refine. But the system prompts you. When you click add, it will say, please choose a part you wish to add suggestions for. So I simply refine it, and I'll say I'm doing it for the casting day of the female lead, 4th of November, and now I say add suggestions. And I can now do my general search and find who I feel fits the bill. So we'll choose Amber, and let's say we'll choose Imogen as well. That then feeds back into the back, and as you're used to currently, I can then save and send that response, and that will feed through to my casting director. Now I want to deal with the male lead, so I jump onto the male lead, and I do exactly the same thing. Save and send the suggestions, and goes through. Now it's a matter of just working through the workflow. As the casting director accepts and declines, these tabs will then increase on what information is available for me to do. So in the case of Alan here, if the casting director were to accept them and then issue a casting slot, a casting tab would appear, and when I click on it, Alan would be available there for me to accept the time slot. That concludes our video tutorial, but please, it is quite a lot of information to absorb, which we understand. So do not feel obligated to try and figure out yourself. Please just call us at the Holbang Shoot for any additional support or walkthroughs, as we'll be happy to help. Thank you and keep well.